Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Soul Goals. My name is Dawn, and we are in year number 3 of the podcast. I'm really excited for this year. We're going back to the interview process with wonderful people from all walks of life regarding specific subjects each week. And this week, I have my dear friend Leah from down the road, actually. And
Hi.
hey, and we are dealing with the subject called community. And let's just talk about what community is, because when I say the word community, like, you look that up in the dictionary, it's so many different things. But for what we're talking about today, specifically how community can help you be the best version of yourself, how you can plug into community, how you can contribute to community, how you can pull support from community, and what that looks like. And, I think too, sometimes we shy away from community thinking that for some reason we either don't deserve it, or it's too hard, or we got to be vulnerable and we don't want to do that. There's all sorts of fear mechanisms that we sometimes put in place. Too, if we are introverts, sometimes it's hard to step out and be part of that community. I know you had talked about that before. So, yeah, without further ado, let's welcome to the show my friend Leah. Yay!
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. How's your day been? Good?
It's good. Just getting home from work. So,
Yeah. Good day at work?
yeah, always busy, but have a great team and yeah, it's a very good environment. So,
That's awesome. And so what I hear you saying is it sounds like your community is pretty cool there.
for sure. Yes,
Yeah.
we have definitely developed our own little community there. We have built our team on culture and yeah, it's a great place to work, great people surrounding me.
So let me just talk a little bit about that, since you're talking about work kind of communities. You just said you built you built a strong culture around that. So where that's being said, how did you cultivate that? How do you do that? You got to have everybody plugged in. Was everybody on board? Is that something that took a long time to do? Tell me a little bit about how that kind of went to fruition for you guys.
yeah, so I started in November of 23. So I'm coming up on 2 years there. When I started, it was a very, very small team, just a few of us in the office, and I was the only female.
Oh my
So,
gosh.
yeah,
Oh, wow.
so I work in construction. I work for an electrical contractor in Nashville. So a lot of males. And
Yeah.
like I said, I was the only female in the office. But it was a great group of guys. I knew from just the interview that this was going to be a great place to work. I actually knew one guy there who I had coached at CrossFit, and he so he brought me on for an interview. But yeah, so
Worlds collide right there.
I know, right? It's crazy to think about, really.
Yeah.
But yeah, we started getting more work and started building our team. And my boss, he really focuses more on culture than anything. I had zero construction experience when I started, but he saw like the foundation was there for them to teach me whatever I needed to know.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how we built our team. We have some members that do have the construction experience and they fit the culture. We knew as soon as we interviewed them, like they were going to fit in, but we've also built our team on people that had no experience, but we knew that they would, fit our culture there and our team. And that has been just like the number one thing that we've done. And it has really worked well for us. We've built our team mostly on referrals. Somebody knows somebody.
And it's kind of how you brought people into it then.
Yes,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah. Well, that's
Yeah.
like word of mouth, and which I think is a big part of community too. It's being able to, like, if you're in a group, it's saying, hey, I think I know somebody that might fit that position for you.
Mhm.
Or, hey, I got a friend, something, that to me is also community. But it sounds like you're in a place that is indicative of really that's one of their priorities, is creating that environment. And like, that's a really important thing. I know from my past with work, and you probably can speak to this too, different work situations haven't always been, that cohesive kind of culture where it's we are a community. We have each other's back. We all have the same common goal in mind, and we're all working towards that proactively without competition amongst one another.
Right. And that's exactly how it is there. You know, no matter what your job title is, we are always there to help each other, you know, whatever they need. So, but yes, like past experiences, when it doesn't work, when you're not, you know, cohesive at work, it makes your life miserable. So
Right.
firsthand experience. So
Right.
this
Right.
has been a breath of fresh air for sure.
Oh, very good. So, like, let's go kind of back to square one about community. When I say the word community, what is the first thing that pops into your brain? Like, what's the first thing that comes up for you from your experience?
So I wrote down the word home.
Okay.
Yeah. So whenever you asked me to do this episode, I just started thinking about community, and it really has been a part of my life since childhood.
Mm,
My grandparents, I grew up in a small town, Louisiana. And I just remember every weekend, it wasn't like a said thing. It just happened. Everybody showed up at my grandparents' house. You know, she had coffee at 2 with a pound cake on the counter. And, you
oh.
know, it didn't matter if you were family, friends, like everybody knew they were welcome.
Hmm.
And we just sat around the table and fellowshipped. And
Yeah.
so that really, yeah, it's really just been a part of my life from childhood.
Yeah. So I love the fact that you said it's community for you growing up was this enveloping, really inclusive place where it's not just about blood family coming over. Like it's an
Hmm.
open door for everybody. So I would think that I mean like thinking about your grandparents and that open door kind of policy that they had with loving on people that aren't their immediate bloodline family. I like that to me says a lot about community in terms of your background, your belief, where you come from, your roots, and how
Hmm.
important that probably was for you along the way, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And I
Yeah, it
think
was.
I mean, obviously that's a very foundational thing for you, but when are there other times that you have felt like you've been part of a community outside of your family environment? Like I know, well, before I ask you that, I'm just going to tell you, you and I met at CrossFit,
Yes.
and I know so many people can say, "Oh my God, I can't do CrossFit. It's crazy. You're rolling around on the floor after you work out, dying, coffee, black lung, all the like all the things." Okay, first misnomer. Anybody can do CrossFit. We can
Anybody
attest
can do it. Yes, for sure.
modified to whomever. But you and I met there, and I like when I joined CrossFit, I was really needing community more than I ever thought I did. And it
Hmm.
was just like a gift that popped down. And I really that was a piece for me that felt like I was like that was one of the very integral times of my life where I felt like I was really a part of a community. I mean, can you attest to that too?
Oh, for sure. I mean, moving here from Louisiana in 2015, I knew no one except my husband and my
Mhm.
daughter. And so I knew that that was something that was important to me, and I knew that getting plugged in somewhere was the only way that we were going to make it here.
Mm,
And I found CrossFit like literally like a month after we moved here and got plugged in, and I was a part of that gym until it closed.
mm.
So 7 years of being here, and was the same gym. You know, people come and go, but
Yeah.
that core group, you know, I still can call any of them today and know that they'll help. You
Yeah,
know.
absolutely. And I think too that it goes to say that you really have to plug in. I love the words you got to plug into it
Mhm.
because a lot of times that community isn't going to come to you. You got to go to it. How hard is that do you think for people to do? You know, like if you
Um,
think about extroverts versus introverts, some people are really just more naturally inclined to reach out, to want to be involved, to want to be with people. But if you think about the people that that's a challenge for whatever reason, whether it's their personality, whether it's stuff that's happened that they need to like, I mean, that has affected them that they can't really plug in? Like, what
Mhm.
would you say to that?
Well, I am an introvert, so it definitely is,
You don't
and
strike
was
me as that though.
yeah, I mean, I'm pretty closed off. I'm not just gonna put myself out there. I'm not scared to talk to anyone,
Yeah.
but, just have some walls, but just being an introvert myself, like, you just gotta put yourself out there, and it's hard, but something beautiful can definitely come out of it, right?
Right, right, right. How has that helped you? Like, when you take one toe and you kinda stick it in the water, like, I mean, you say something I love that. Something beautiful can come from it if you just step out, but I also will say that what you said to when you guys moved here from Louisiana, like, you had nothing. You knew that you had to plug in and you had to find something, and that the first instinct for me would be, let's find a community, whether that's a church, whether that's a gym, whether that's, a women's group, whether that's, anything where there's a business meeting, anything where there's a community of people that you can be surrounded by, that you can engage with.
Yeah, and I think it's important to find what your interests are. Like, there's a group for everything, right? And so
Mhm.
I knew that I liked working out. I was going to be working out. So why not find a gym that I can have a built in family, basically?
Yeah.
It didn't happen overnight, but I have some of my best friends now from that experience.
Right.
Um,
I do know another thing that you have actively created in your life, you and your husband right now with your group is what you said this a couple weeks ago when we talked, was supper club that you guys have developed and you kind of created for your for your posse, if you will, and to kind of get everybody together and know that there's a committed time that we are going to do what we can do and fellowship together and know that we have something to look forward to. I mean, for me, like, I look at different things that I have on my calendar like 2 weeks from now, and I'm like, "Oh, I can't wait." I'm excited about
mhm.
that group that I'm gonna be around.
Yeah. Yeah. So after our gym closed, some other things happened. I currently do not go to a CrossFit gym, but I knew that I still needed some type of community aspect of my life. And
Mhm.
so me and my husband were talking, and I was like, when we go back home, our friends, they're always together, you know, no matter what time of year it is. Like, we walk in, they're all together, they're always
Mhm.
having get-togethers, parties, whatever. And so I was like, I really, really want that here. And so I was like, what if we did just a once a month supper club? It's a standing invitation every third Wednesday at our house. We have a different like theme every month, and it's just kind of like
Ooh,
a potluck deal. Everybody just brings a dish, and it's no pressure. You just know that it's happening. If you can come, great. And we just take 3 hours on Wednesday and just fellowship and just cultivate those relationships.
right, right.
Yeah.
And so the overriding, resounding theme that I'm hearing you talk about so far is creating that community.
Hmm.
And that, I mean, you have to work at it. You
You
have to
do.
dig in. Yeah. Have you always been that person that is like, I mean, you talked about your you talk about being a self-proclaimed ex or introvert rather, right?
Introvert.
Right.
Yes.
But do you feel like there's been different points in your life where you've been like, it's easier or it's more difficult to cultivate that, to reach out, to make that community happen? And in the difficult moments, like, what do you do? How do you get yourself out of that space where you want to isolate, you don't really want to be around people, but like in your being that that's really what's going to benefit you and move you to the next space that you need to be at?
Yeah. So whenever the gym split, that was really a dark time for me. I lost a lot of friendships during
Mhm,
that time, or what I thought was friendships. Like, looking back now, I it really wasn't,
mhm.
you know. But I it was a very dark place. I didn't have a lot of friends left. But I knew that I had to cling to the relationships that I knew were solid.
Mhm.
Um, and so me and a couple friends from the gym, and we still do this today, we just made it a thing where every month we're going out to dinner, just continuing to cultivate those relationships. I just keep saying that, but
Mhm.
you have to work at it. You have to be intentional.
Mm.
Um,
Yeah.
and, you find out what's really important and who is important.
Yeah.
So
I
I
like
think
what you said. You have to be intentional, and you
for
have to be
sure.
intentional with your effort to create that and to keep it going, because I know, like, we can all, as women, we can always say we have friendships that we haven't spoken to these people for 2 years, but then when we do get a chance to catch up, it's like we haven't skipped a beat kind of thing. So
Mhm.
I think all of us probably have a relationship or more than one in our lives where we could say that. But if we're thinking about it on an ongoing basis, on a daily, weekly, monthly basis, where we really need that interaction from a community of people to really keep us on track, maybe even keep us accountable, like it takes that effort and it takes that intention to really make it happen.
It does. And, that accountability just helps your growth, as a
Mhm.
person.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. I don't,
Yeah, well, I hear you saying that that community in your daily life is pretty important, obviously. So, what talk about what else that looks like for you on an ongoing basis. So you've talked about the intentionality behind it, the effort behind it, and even, I mean, like, maybe we talk about the challenges of community, like keeping a community together. You did not have that aspect when the gym split. That was one of the big communities that you were a part of from the very beginning of being in this area, and clinging to something that was very inclusive and encouraging and supportive for you. So when that time happened for you and that shift happened for you, we're going to call it a shift, right? That challenge probably, like, what is it like? Really, is community this? Is this really what community is? I mean, I would wager to bet that that probably crossed your mind.
for sure. And I mean, I feel like we've all went through something similar where, it's whether it's a church split or, gym friend, like a friend circle, I think we've all went through something where it's like, wow, like, did I even really know these people? What have I done wrong? That's always I feel like kind of my personality. It's like, well, what did I do wrong in the situation
Mhm.
to make them, turn their back on me or whatever?
Mhm.
Um, but at the end of the day, you've got to dig deep and you've got to, figure out what's important to you, who is important to you, and
Mhm.
the right people are going to remain in your life. And sometimes, people are only in your life for a season,
Right.
and you have to figure out what lesson you were supposed to learn from that.
Right. I think that's really hard. And I think too, because if we center that idea around communities and we've been so enveloped and so much a part of a community, and then we go through a massive shift, like we turn our car to the right completely and go down a completely different road when we weren't expecting it to. Like, I think I mean, that's hard for us to assimilate and then go, why is that happening? Is this really what community is? Can I trust to be a part of another community? Is it even worth it? Is it just going to let me down? And then, or, guys, I think it can be damaging. Like, I love that you talked about, I mean, it doesn't have to be just a CrossFit community. The reason we're talking about that is because that's what we have in common.
Mhm.
But like a church community that splits, a friend group that splits at any age, I think you could call a friend group a community. Obviously, they're there for support. And when that group kind of dissolves for whatever purpose, whatever reason, I think it leaves a lot of us really questioning what community, what is. And you said it, it's like you have to dig deep and figure out what it means to you. But golly, getting to that point, out
Mhm.
of kind of some of the blah.
Yes, ask my husband. He
Oh,
he was trying everything. Like, I don't know. It was a very, very dark, dark time.
yeah.
But we're on the other side. So it
Yeah.
is. it does get better.
Yeah, yeah. And then you recreate a community that, I think it was great that you said that too. Like, what lessons can I learn from this community and the shift that happened in terms of what it is that I need to know of either about myself, like what works for me and what doesn't work for me, taking it forward. And where is my commitment to my community and what is the commitment from the community that I can take in that I deserve to have as well, because I think we all deserve to have that. We all deserve to have that supportive group around us. I think too, we got to find a place of grace for other people's, obviously for other people's walks of life, because sometimes it just doesn't align. Sometimes it
Right.
just doesn't work. And that sense of belonging that we had just, like you said, it's a season. Maybe they were just there for a season.
Yep.
Yeah. Talk to me a little bit about belonging, because when I think about community, I also think about how that fits into feeling like you're a part of something bigger than yourself, something outside of yourself. And you're like, you belong to something that is loving, supportive, uplifting. Give
Mhm.
me a little bit of your introspection about what belonging maybe has looked like for you over your time within communities you've been a part of.
Yeah. So with the supper club, I really just wanted to create a space. Again, where there's no pressure, no judgment. My husband and I are pretty easygoing people, pretty easy
Yes.
to get along with. But in the compass of that, like I just want people to know, that they can be seen, they are valued. We want that connection with you. And whatever you need from the group, whether that's, some type of healing or growth or strength, like I want to be that for the people that we're trying to cultivate these relationships with.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's really for me. And I think too, like if I think about my 18-year-old, right? She's doesn't have the lessons that I do as, 30 plus years older than her. I think about where I was and my thought process around what you just said,
Mhm.
like healing and supportive and those words. And it's really sometimes hard to see the forest for the trees.
Right.
Yeah, when you've been let down by a community and trust the fact that, this is where I want to be, this is what I want to do, and this is what it can look like. Like this is
Yes.
a possibility. It
Yes.
doesn't have to be dark. What do you wish that other people knew about belonging and about community and what it could really be for them? What like it's been for you?
Um, Honestly, it can be whatever you want it to be. I think we fall into the trap of comparison, and you're seeing,
Yeah.
especially with social media, all these groups that are, just, oh, we're having such a good time. And you really don't know what's going on behind the scenes. You don't know if it's all just a front, and you can't really compare your community to someone else's. Everyone's looks different. And it's really just what you're needing in your life right now.
Yeah.
And also, it's not permanent. Again, like seasons change, people come in and out of your life, and hopefully, you have some that are going to be steadfast through it all.
Yeah.
Um, but again, some are not, and it's just more of a learning opportunity, or you know, it may not be anything that ended badly. It just ended, and that's
Yeah.
okay.
I think that's hard too. If you
For
think
sure.
about endings of communities that weren't explosive, or weren't negative or
Right.
weren't controversial, they were just, this is kind of where it has to shift.
Mhm.
Like, I think that can be just as painful as those big explosions that tend to end communities, if you will.
For
Um,
sure, because I think there's not a lot of resolution,
oh yeah. Yeah.
I mean, if it ends explosively, like, at least, everybody got mad and it's done, but
Yeah. You're not wrong. You think about that, like, think about a breakup. Like, think
Mhm.
about, like, if you leave a coupleship and it was because of X, Y, or Z that happened. There's something foundational that you can point to that this is why it happened. But a
Mhm.
lot of times communities evolve because people evolve and people grow, and they start going a different direction that's important for them, but that also shifts the dynamic of the community. And I think it's really important. I've had to do a lot of work around this myself personally, that it's not my responsibility to look at that and go, well, I'm responsible for them leaving,
Mhm.
or I'm responsible for this community not happening anymore. It just is.
Mhm.
We're all growing, and that doesn't mean that we don't support anymore, but that just means that we all are stepping into the next, I love it, the next season. We're stepping into
Yes.
the next season.
Yeah,
I think
but it
it's
is hard. I mean, yeah, that's just
Mhm.
my personality. Like I'm a fixer, I'm a helper. And I want to be the peacemaker. And
Yeah.
so when there's not really uh, an explanation to pinpoint, like it is hard to swallow sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah. I want to talk a little bit more about the comparison thing, like the social media thing and the groups and the
Mhm.
communities of, hey, look at what we're doing, and knowing that we're doing this community for the right reasons, or we're creating it, or we're showing it for what its value really is, and what that, instead of making it into something that it's not. Have you, like, as we watch community kind of evolve in the social media dominated age, in this digital age that we're in, I mean, do you see any pitfalls beyond just the comparison thing that we all kind of have with social media regarding
Um,
community?
I mean, I think it's definitely more accessible. Like you don't have to be in person to be part of a community, right? There's plenty of groups, instant support networks,
Yeah.
and it's borderless, right? Like all around the world, you can all be part. And going back to CrossFit, like it kind of is that too, it's a worldwide community.
Mhm.
Um, but I do think it's probably more difficult for it to remain like authentic. I feel like
Authentic.
yeah, I feel like you really have to have more of an intentional effort when it comes to keeping a community together, I guess, in social media
Yeah.
state.
Totally makes sense. Yeah, I
Mhm.
love what you said there, authentic. It's gotta be authentic, and I think that's another overriding thing, like, that would be another buzzword for me besides just belonging. It's gotta be authentic to really make a difference and to really, pour into people,
Mhm.
because, authenticity, people can see right through that.
Mhm. For sure.
Most people can. Tell me what a healthy community looks like for you in terms of where you are now, maybe where you have been. What has been healthy for you before? Maybe talk a little bit about some of the shift that you've had in what community used to be for you maybe 10 years ago versus what it is now.
I think going back to like CrossFit days, it was more about how many people could be around me, how many people can I get to a party, or
Mhm.
that's telling me my worth, or my acceptance in the group.
Mm,
But
mm,
now, my priorities are definitely different. Smaller circle, intentional relationships. That's just more important to me,
yeah.
knowing that we have the right people around us and not just number of people, if that
Mm,
makes sense.
totally. Yeah. I think there's growing pains with that too, a lot of
Mhm,
times, because as we age out of one belief system and head into the next space that we're going to, because we've matured, because we've gone through maybe something that's been difficult and we've learned a little bit more about ourselves. I think we have to extend grace to ourselves
mhm,
that, what was isn't going to be again. And that's okay. We
mhm.
can create what we need based on where we are.
Yes, for
Yeah.
sure, and that's, being an introvert, I really don't like to be the center of attention, so, smaller circles are always better.
For you, I totally got you. Absolutely. Yeah. Let's talk about the power of community. And if you could give it maybe one word, the power of community for you, what do you think that would be?
Well, I have written down belonging, so we've already said
Oh,
that.
okay. Good.
And again, that's just going back to, kind of what we've tried to create. Because it is important to me, for the people around me to, for me to feel valued, and that's professionally and personally.
Yeah.
I came from professionally going to this job that I'm at now, the difference that it made just to feel valued.
Mm,
Just it does a lot for your self-esteem, and just your self-worth. And so that, yeah, power of community, just belonging, being able to feel seen, comfortable, connected.
mhm.
Um, yeah.
Yeah, I think the value thing is a big piece too, because I don't know that and maybe, and would, correct me if I'm wrong. I think this goes introvert and extrovert. Depending upon our path, we can be really uncomfortable with being seen,
Mhm.
being seen for who we are. I think that a lot of us really want to be seen for, hey, here I am. But like when it gets to the nitty gritty, I
Mhm.
think it's the community that surrounds you that helps you feel safe enough to really open up and be your authentic self, and how important that is for your self-esteem, like you said, and the valuing and knowing that just as much as you value other people, you need value, that you need that feedback too. You need that and you deserve that, you
For
know?
sure, and that's something that I guess struggle with. I'm an Enneagram 2, the helper, and so I am constantly just making sure I'm taking care of everyone else. Very rarely do I ask for help, even when I'm overwhelmed and actually need help. I just
Mm,
refuse to ask for help. Um, but yes, that is one thing about the Enneagram too. Like you do want to feel appreciated. You want to feel valued.
yeah.
It's very important. So,
Yeah. But also, I think too that's interesting when you don't, you're the fixer. Like, how do you accept support from your community? Because, like, you as the Enneagram 2, you want, I totally know what you're talking about here. You want to feel valued, you want to be seen for what you're contributing, but yet you want to be behind the scenes and help and take care of it. So there's a really, it's a slippery it's a slippery slope.
it is. It's a very fine line
It's a very
because
fun.
I
Do
need
that.
help, but then I just want to do it myself so that I know it's done right. It's a little bit of a control freak.
Well, that's a whole other podcast that I could, like, I should be leading the 12-step program on control freaks right here. It's a hard thing,
It's very
and
hard.
letting go of control enough to be a part of a community where everybody has a point, has a purpose. I will say I just recently started, participating in a women's online, it's a Zoom call. It's called, Be Still with Bobby, and what it is every Tuesday morning, we do this hour-long Zoom call. She records it if you have to work and you're not able to be there, and it's a handful of women from across the country that come together and unpack their week, and you're going to see the same familiar faces. Sometimes we have new people pop in, and it's a community that supports, but it also, as much as it gives, you're allowed to take from it too. And
Mhm,
I think community, a lot of times we feel like we have to create it, we have to contribute, we have to feed it, we have to pour
mhm.
into it. But ultimately what a community is there to do is to it's reciprocated,
For sure.
it's reciprocal kind of situation. Have you ever been in a situation where you don't feel that, like a community where you don't feel reciprocation from the other side?
Um, well, I would say after the gym, um, closed, I took it upon myself to try to keep the community together. We started another gym,
Mhm.
with a new owner. And it just wasn't the same, right?
Yeah.
Which, I know our first CrossFit gym together, there will never be anything like it. No, never
Like,
be a
never.
community like that ever again. I have looked everywhere. You can't find one. But yeah, So that time of my life, that was where the shift kind of started to happen.
Mm.
We had a gathering here at the house, and um, one of the girls from the gym had come, and then she left. And immediately after she left, the other ones there or here were just dogging her out. And I'm like,
Oh.
I just I remember standing in my kitchen and thinking, wow, I don't think I want to be friends with these people anymore.
Mhm.
Like,
Mhm.
if they are saying this about one of their best friends, I can't even imagine what has been said about me.
Mhm.
Um, and so, yeah, I think being on that side, it wasn't me not being reciprocated, it was more her. But ultimately I could see through you know, things were starting to shift. and
Mhm.
and after that I just kind of started removing myself from that group. And I didn't work at the gym much longer,
Mhm.
just because I started feeling that shift. And people were kind of, we were just, I mean, and it's fine,
Yeah. Well,
but
you
it
were growing
was,
apart too,
yes,
you
for
know?
sure.
But I think the really powerful thing about what you just said is seeing what was going on within the community that you were a part of and knowing that there's a piece of you that's probably gonna mourn that.
Mhm.
Knowing that I think that's the hard thing when we come out of a community that is shifting and trusting that we're gonna find something that's gonna fill that space that's beneficial for us moving forward, knowing that this was really hard. This was not what I thought it was, or it's changing. And
Mhm.
what do I do with change? You're like, what do I do? And going back to that first community, there will never be another community like that. And I think
Never.
yeah, I think anybody listening to this can attest to the fact that you have communities in your life that you've been a part of, whether it's when you were 3 years old, when you were 20 years old, when you were 50 years old, that are so meaningful and such things that you can use as a barometer for other communities. Tell
Yes.
me, do you think that that's a positive to do that, or maybe a negative to do that? Like the barometer, like wagering and kind of we talk about comparing, but not in a way, not in the social media comparison that we were talking about earlier.
Right. um i I think it could be good or bad. Looking back on those experiences and that time in my life, it was amazing.
Mhm.
And it made me really appreciate having that type of community around me. But again, my priorities have changed, and my body won't let me do CrossFit anymore. So that's not really where I'm looking for community.
Right. All good, all good.
but but again, it did, I do reference that when thinking about what kind of community we're trying to build now,
Yeah.
so
Yeah. It's almost like it created maybe a pillar for you to go, "This is what is valuable to me, this is what's not." And I go back to, like, just relationships, whether it's friendships, whether it's coupleships, things that we go through, and if it splits, if it parts for whatever reason, the valuable lessons that we get from that where we learn, "This is what I did like, this is what resonated with me, this is what did not resonate with me." So I take that information, I'm valuing, myself and my process of going, all right, I'm going to reflect on what's important to me in a community. What is it that I need? And then, all right, now how do I find that? If I can't find it, how do I cultivate that? Where
Mhm.
can we go to start developing that? What does that look like in my everyday life? Like all the questions that come in.
Yes.
Do you feel like you're supported now in a developing as your life is changing and shifting? Because I know your kids are growing up. Your husband is very busy with his career here as well as a music career. So, and your job is I mean, you're in a position where you have a lot of responsibility as well. How do you fit those community pieces in to help feed you where your life is just like a whirlwind tornado?
Yeah. I mean, I do feel very supported. personally and professionally. And, it's taken some time. We've been here 10 years in
Mhm.
Mount Juliet.
Mhm.
So um, the supper club has it's really just grown into this beautiful thing. We didn't know how it's going to be received, but every month everyone's always, oh, we're so looking forward to it. It's our favorite new thing to do.
Oh,
um, and it's just, again, no pressure. It's just a laid back atmosphere where we can just fellowship. And sometimes it's 5 or 6 of us, sometimes it's 20. You just
yeah. Yeah, yeah.
And then professionally, like, it really just was. I think it was a God thing, because if I
Mhm.
wouldn't have known um, Richie from the gym, then I would have never known about the company I work for. I would never thought I wanted to go work in construction.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and it is, it's been a beautiful thing. And like I said, we've really just cultivated our team. It's taken 2 years, but we really have a good core group. We all get along, and that helps you personally when you don't hate going to work every day, right?
Right? Yeah, absolutely. But what I hear you saying basically is that you have to have patience in the process, right?
For
That you
sure.
gotta stick with it, that it takes time to make that all happen and that it's not an overnight thing, but the communities that you cultivate along the way can absolutely be stepping stones to like the God thing for you,
Mhm,
like how that all happened because it's very synchronistic. It probably
mhm.
wouldn't have happened if you hadn't have been part of a community in a capacity and stayed plugged in with that community in that capacity anyway. Yeah, I
Yeah.
digress. That's yeah, I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
Tell me one message that you have about community that you would love for listeners to hear and maybe the importance of it, maybe the value of it, maybe what it's meant to you, maybe something that they can take with them that goes, this is why it's important. This is what I can do to help dive in, to be a support, to gather support, and to just do community in a way that is the best for me and the people around me.
Yeah, I think you just have to find what's most important. Um, Growing up, like, family was always like the number one priority for us, and family didn't mean just blood.
Yeah.
Um, Again, we were surrounded by, a community at my grandparents' house, and that was just kind of instilled in me. Um, and moving here, I knew that I needed a family, because I had no blood family here. So cultivating what we have and finding the people that are in our lives now, I am just so thankful for them. They have become my family here, and that's what is important to Ben and I.
Mhm.
Neither one of us have family here, so we have made it our mission to basically create a family for us and our girls.
Yeah.
Going back to supper club, like, our girls are just as excited about supper club as we are, because their
Aw.
friends come too.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and I've always said I wanted to be that house, especially for the girls, where everyone feels safe and at home, and
Yeah.
they know that they can come here. So,
Right. Right. That's amazing what you said. And I think it's so integral. And I really just I want to reiterate it that family for a lot of people is their community. But for people that don't have family, you have to choose that family.
mhm,
And you have family, but it's not readily accessible to you. It's your immediate family, it's your core of the four of you here. And you like it is that what I believe is our responsibility is that we have to step outside of our box to be able to explore what community is instead of isolating. There's a difference between, I think, kind of hibernating and isolating, the two different things. And I think there's sometimes when you got to kind of hibernate and you got to reflect on what it is that you need. But I think the difference between that and isolating is that, you know, you have to be brave. Isolating can keep you locked up and not contributing and not reaching out, but being brave to step out and explore what a community could be for you and how it can really, really help you be the best person that you can be. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's important. Totally.
Very
Yeah.
important.
Yay. Oh, thank you so much for speaking about this with me today, Leah. I love it. Hey, before we go, are you good with some rapid fire questions?
Yes.
Ooh, okay. Say right up front. Like the first year when I did rapid fire questions, it was like, these are probably lasting for 10 minutes. So rapid fire questions usually go on longer than just quick. Squirrel, right?
Yes, exactly.
So we'll do it. We'll do it. All right. Just a few of them for you. Okay. Question number 1. What is your favorite or your go-to comfort food? What's your go-to comfort food?
Mexican.
Oh, love me some good Mexican. What's your favorite Mexican food? What do you go for?
Well, it just depends on what mood I'm in. We go to Margarita House here in Mount Juliet a lot. Like the owner knows me by name when I walk in. We have our favorite server, Julio. Shout out to Julio.
I love it.
And we sit down and literally like our drinks, queso, everything is like there before he even like comes to take our order. And normally like he knows our order.
Oh,
But
that's good. I call that
yeah,
consistency.
yeah, for
That's what I
sure. But I usually fill up on chips and queso, so I normally just go for like a little tostada or something for my meal.
Chips and queso, that's where it's at. Yeah. Do you do guacamole?
I don't.
Oh,
I know.
really?
I don't.
Okay. All right. Moving on. We'll talk guac later. All right. If you could have dinner with anyone, past or present, who would it be and maybe why?
So I always get made fun of for this, but it would be Ronnie Dunn of Brooks and Dunn.
Oh, like the singer, Ronnie
So,
Dunn?
yes, of Brooks
Okay.
and Dunn. Our
Remind me of
child
which
is
one he is.
So he's the main singer. He's the tall with the goatee.
And he's got crazy hair.
Yeah, so Kix is the one with the cowboy hat and the guitar. But yes, they've been a staple like from childhood. We named our child Brooks from after
Oh,
Brooks and Dunn.
okay.
So yeah.
Well, let's put a shout out there that you need to have dinner, like supper club. Invite him to supper
Supper
club.
club. Come on, Ronnie Dunn. Let's go.
Totally. All right. Question number 3. Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Are you drinking coffee right now too?
Yes.
I can't believe this. I'm totally like letting the cat out of the bag. It's like 4:50 here in Nashville and I'm drinking coffee and it's not decaffeinated.
No, definitely not. Never.
And I'll bring this up before. I saw you have a TikTok and it was you're rolling in your car with your open coffee mug and you're like, where are my girls that don't close the coffee mug off? And I was like, me.
Yes.
Like, what is that about us? Like,
I don't know. I was thinking about that. And like, even when I go to the gas station and get like a fountain drink, I do not put a top on the cup. It's just something, I don't know. I just like,
but I'm the same way. I'm going to look that up scientifically. I'll text you when I figure it out.
Okay.
There's got to be a reason.
For real.
We'll figure it out. Okay. Next question, beach or mountains?
Beach all day long. That's
Same.
my retirement plan.
Yes. Whereabouts? Where would you really, anywhere you want to be? What beach you'd want to be on?
Probably just the Panhandle. We love it down there. So
easy to get to from here and beautiful, beautiful beaches. Yes. Perfect.
Mhm.
All right. What is one lesson that you've learned from community that you carry with you every day?
I would just say be yourself and the right people will find you.
Oh man, that's very poignant, very important. That's really hard to do.
Mhm.
Yeah. Being ourselves is hard to do. Showing up as ourselves. And like I think the big thing is the trusting that they're going to show up.
Yeah.
You got to trust. You got to believe. Yeah.
It's hard.
But it's possible.
It is.
For sure. And supper club. Let's go. Brooks and Dunn, supper club at Leah's house next month.
I'm
We're
gonna
going to make
tag.
that happen.
I'm gonna tag Ronnie Dunn in this.
Totally. Totally. I think it needs to happen. Just saying. Just saying.
Talk to my husband.
Yes, yes, we will for sure. All right, Leah, I am so thankful for your input. So thankful for your words, for being vulnerable, for stepping out and having a conversation with me today. Because I know as an extrovert versus an introvert, it's just a little bit more challenging, but I really appreciate you
Thank
being able
you.
to, verbalize your path and talk about what community has meant to you, what it has looked like for you, and the importance of it specifically in your
Yes.
life and what it's done for you. So
Well, thank you for having me.
you are so welcome. Have a wonderful rest of your evening. And yeah, cheers to some more coffee at 5
Cheers.
o'clock. Cheers. Thanks, girl.
All right.